guys, my name is Maddie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Thank you for clicking on this video. I thought it would be really fun since I've gotten quite a few questions about it, about how I became a Pilates instructor. And I wanted to talk about my story and how this became my life that I'm just so grateful for. So I thought it'd be fun if I got ready with you and showed you how I achieved this look. And I wanted to just hang out with you guys and just be completely transparent with you about my story. Really quick, before we start the video, I wanted to say thank you to the sponsor of this video, which is Linjer. Linjer is an amazing brand. Their goal is to empower women with sustainable jewelry. They make long-lasting, beautiful jewelry at fair prices, and they make it sustainable too. And I really just love being able to support a brand like this because I feel like I really just care so much about the products I buy, and I love brands with a good purpose behind it and a good mission. And so I love the fact that they try to empower women and they try to make affordable, beautiful jewelry at a price that people can actually buy while minimizing any sort of impact on the environment. This is their 14K solid gold necklace, and I'm never someone who ever gets solid gold things. Like, I normally am just a girl who orders on Amazon and gets like the cheap jewelry and stuff, but that jewelry never lasts. It always ends up irritating my skin and stuff. This is completely solid gold, which is crazy. I feel like I've been really trying to be more mindful about the impact I have on the earth and the environment and stuff. I've been really trying to be more mindful about what products I buy, and I think that being more mindful about the products that you buy and trying to get more high quality things is so much better than getting a bunch of not quality things. You know what I mean? So having like a staple necklace that you can wear every single day, I think it's just so cool. So this is 100% recycled gold. They offset carbon emissions with every shipment. So I love that I can get like quality pieces that don't hurt the environment. And they also have birthstone gems, which is what I got. I was born in June, so I got a pearl, which I think is really sentimental. One other thing that I got from them, they also have gold vermeil, which vermeil just means that it's sterling silver covered in a plate of gold. And normally plated jewelry is the stuff that fades and that gets brassy and just doesn't last, but I got this gold vermeil ring. And the reason their gold vermeil is different is because they have a pure sterling silver base and it's plated with a really thick layer of gold. It's 5 times thicker than normal plated jewelry, so it's actually not gonna wear off, which is cool. Like, you can literally wear this in the shower if you wanted to. This has definitely been a new staple for me. I think it's really good just having like pure staples in your closet, and you can dress it up, dress it down. As you can tell, I'm kind of dressing it down right now, but you can totally dress it up too. Here are some looks of me dressing it up as well. My discount code is Maddie Milton, MADDIE-MILTON. You guys get a special offer with my code, and if you just click the link to the shop, then you get a discount on your purchase. And with that being said, let's get back into the video. I feel like it's literally been so long since I've talked to you guys. We're here. I have a coffee made. I have my makeup next to me. We're gonna get ready together. I'm a Pilates instructor. I have been for almost a year now, which is actually blowing my mind. I truly have never loved the job more than I love my job right now. I feel so lucky. I feel so grateful. I just wanted to share with you guys how I did it and how I got to where I am now. So I know this really would have been super helpful for me to watch back when I was trying to become one. So as you can tell, I'm fresh out of the shower. Hair is drying in a new microfiber towel because I'm trying to focus on hair health at the moment. I'm just gonna go in with some sunscreen because I already have my skincare on, because sunscreen is so important, especially if you use things like retinol and vitamin C, which I do. Anyway, so let's get into it. So how did I become a Pilates instructor? I guess I'll give you guys a backstory first. So I decided to become a Pilates instructor just like literally on a whim. Like, it was so random. But at the time I was working at Starbucks, because if you didn't know, I used to work at Starbucks, trying out this for the first time. So I had been doing mat Pilates for a long time at that point. I love mat Pilates. I followed like Move with Nicole on YouTube and Sammy Clark and stuff like that. And I just was really in my mat Pilates era. Oh, that is too light. I look like a ghost. Okay, I think we saved it. Anyway, So I was looking for a job just for after once I was able to quit Starbucks, because I still just don't know what I want to do with my life yet. I don't really know what career I want to get into. So I just thought that being an instructor of some sort sounded like a fun idea. And so I found this studio that's right next to where my boyfriend was living at the time, which is where I live now. I just thought, I was like, wow, it'd be so cool if I could work there and like walk to my boyfriend's place, you know, like what are the odds of that? So I just like didn't know what I was doing. I was just at a random coffee shop. I just started calling random studios just to see what would happen, because like you never know. I started calling random studios to see if they had like an upcoming training or anything, or like how to even do that. And I called a couple and I ended up finding the studio that I work at now, which is the one that's right next to where my boyfriend lives. And they had a teacher training coming up in like a couple months, they said, and that, you know, send in like my resume and online application and all that. And then they have their own specific training for that studio. So every studio is different. Some studios require you to have a more, like, it's called the 500-hour certification, where it's an overall general Pilates certification. There's lots of places to get it through online, like by Balanced Body and stuff like that. And I thought that I would have to do that in order to get certified. But my studio, actually, they don't require that. They train you from the ground up, and they just require their specific training because they're more of a Pilates style studio. It's all just very relative to where you live. I would definitely just start by calling studios around you, because if I didn't do that and I just wanted to become a Pilates instructor, then I would have paid $5,000 in order to do the Balanced Body training or the classical 500-hour training, which is what I thought that I had to do, because some studios also offer that. If you want to do that, you totally can plan on moving around maybe, or you just really want to get in the classical training, then totally go for that. But I was a broke college student. I didn't have $5,000 just sitting around. So I went for the cheapest option around me that was at a studio that I trusted and stuff. And so it kind of just worked out that way. So my training was only $2,000, which is still a lot, but actually got that as a graduation gift, which was really sweet. At that point, I'd never taken a reformer Pilates class yet. I was still just doing YouTube mat Pilates classes. And then they gave me complimentary classes to train. So they gave me about 20 classes just to practice. And so that's what I did for the next couple months. I just took classes at the studio just to practice and learn. And then I had my training. So the way my studio did it, again, I'm just talking about my own experience. Every studio is different. Every experience can be different, but this is what I did. The way my studio held their training was they had a little 3-day weekend. It was about me and like about 7 other girls, I believe, and all girls who signed up and put their deposit in a couple months earlier. And kind of intense training. It was about like 5 or 6 hours where you just sit on a reformer and you take notes and learn all the exercises. So you're learning all the exercises, you're learning, you know, how to teach, the cues, the flow of everything, and you just are dumped information like in a span of 3 days. Keep in mind, before this, we had some like little online training booklets as well, to kind of get you the idea of things, but for the most part you learn everything in person. And then during those 3 days you practice and stuff, you put on the mic and practicing. And I remember when I first put on the microphone and started talking to the room full of girls, I was mortified. I was like, what the hell am I doing? 'Cause I've never taught a class of any sort before. Like, this was my very first experience, like, ever talking to a room full of people before. Like, I've always been so shy, and so I was terrified. And I was so bad when I first started, keep in mind, like I did not know what I was doing. After the 3-day period, then they gave us a routine to memorize. So the way my studio does it is that they have written routines where I thought you had to make up your own routines, and you can later once you get more experience, so I do now. You're given written routines, which is really nice. So all you have to do is memorize it. And I'm terrible at memorizing stuff. Like, I was so terrified. I was like, how the hell am I supposed to memorize a 50-minute long class? I was like, that's just not happening. Like, there's no way I can memorize that. You're also supposed to remember your clients' names. You're supposed to remember all the progressions, all the modifications, all the muscle groups you're using. Like, it was just so overwhelming at first. And I just thought I couldn't do it. We're given 2 weeks to memorize this one routine. And then after that 2-week period, then we had a test out routine, where in that test out, you teach a class, and you can bring in your friends and any teachers that want to come take the class as well. And you teach a class, and then they grade you. They have a little scale, and then they say if you passed or not. And I was so scared. That was probably the most scared I've been, like, for some sort of test or anything, like way more than school. Like, it was a whole nother level because you're in front of a group of people. Like, it's scary. For that 2 weeks, I would go to my studio, the one that's right next to me, and I would go there after hours at like 8 p.m. and I would walk Evan, my boyfriend, through the routine, put the mic on and everything, and I'd have him do Pilates for an entire week straight. Yeah, and then crunch everything up. Yes, there you go. You're doing a really good job. It's like you're swimming, doing a snow angel. 3, 2, and 1. Pump up and down, up and down. I know it is. Sit crisscross too, that's better. Or, yeah. Slow and controlled. Slow and controlled. Keep going. Oh my. I know. Awesome. You're doing so good. At 8 p.m. He was so helpful. We would like go for runs in the morning, and I would be like reciting my routine, trying to memorize it. Like, it was a lot to memorize. But we also had little workshops and stuff throughout that 2-week period where we could teach our routine, and then the instructors would give us advice and tips and stuff to correct and all that. After the 2-week period, I had my test out. And I was so scared, you guys. Like, I have never been so scared for something like that in my life. Like, I was terrified to teach a class in front of people. I thought you had to memorize the entire routine, which I did, and you should do, but you could have the routine written and sitting on your desk, and I chose to not do that. If you can do that, do that. Like, I was so stupid. I completely forgot an entire chunk of my routine because I was so nervous. I got this idea in my head. My friends told me, Maddie, you should be like really motivational. You should like really try to be like the strong instructor that kind of like yells at people and getting them to be motivated and stuff. And I was like, yeah, you guys were so right. And so I had been practicing this certain way with my instructors this whole time. But then before my test out, I was like, got this in my head. I was like, I need to be so motivational. Like, I need to get these people to work. And so like I started yelling at everyone. When you're on the mic, it's hard to tell that you're yelling. Like, it's kind of hard to tell the volume of your voice, but I was yelling. And after my test out, where I did not do a good job, you guys. Like, I remembered most of everything, and they could see my potential, which is why I ended up passing. But I yelled at everyone. So after the class, they were like, please don't yell at us again. Like, I was so mortified. I was like, I'm sorry, I'll never yell at you guys again. You think you need to project your voice a lot more than you actually do. I found in my own experience taking classes, I love when instructors are so calm and they just like make you feel safe. Rolling out your ankle, big inhales and exhales in, and exhales, extend your legs to the side, your body, your stretch. And they just tell you what to do. That's literally all you're supposed to do, is just tell people what to do, give them the options of making it harder, give them the options to make it easier. Just tell them what to do and what muscles to feel it in. Like, you don't need to be so motivational and yell at them. Like, obviously words of encouragement are great. Like, you know, I kind of say like, oh, you only have 20 seconds left. You guys can do anything for 20 seconds. Like, I think it's good to be encouraging and nice and give them positive reinforcement, but you don't need to yell at them. Like, that is, I hate when people yell at me. And so it's why that was one of my biggest thing I learned, was like, do not yell at people. My coffee is so good today. Little coffee break. I used my Nespresso, shook up the espresso to make a shaken espresso. I put in some homemade cashew milk and then one of my creamers. I use a nut pot one right now. And you guys, after that, I thought I flunked it. I literally cried after. I was like, I failed. And you had to wait like a couple days for them to evaluate and decide who to pass and stuff. They decided to pass me and they saw my potential, which is insane. Only half the girls in my class made it. So 4 out of the 8 girls made it, which was so sad. One of the other girls did the other training and then she was able to pass. So if you fail, you have a chance to pass again. Then when I had my first class, they just threw me right in. Like I was there, I was teaching a class. But what was nice with my studio at least is they had someone watching you for the first 2 months of you teaching. So I had someone watching me and they would actually grade me and give me report cards and tell me like feedback on things to change, which was scary at the time. But I'm super grateful that they did that because it really helped me grow and like learn the cues and like learn better things to say. Anyway guys, that was my story of how I got started at least. Then I got my schedule. I was only scheduled 3 days a week because I was still working at Starbucks at the time, but I started teaching and I was so scared. Before every single class, I would just be so scared. It took me a couple months to feel comfortable, honestly. It takes a minute, but you just gotta put in the effort, you know? You have to get your experience somehow, and like, I'm just so grateful. I remember when I first taught like a class where I felt like I did a good job, and it was just like a feeling I haven't really felt before because I used to work really hard in school. I was a valedictorian. If you didn't know, I also used to model, and going from that to being a Pilates instructor was a big change. Going from a job where I was given so much constant validation for doing something that I didn't really work hard at. Like I just would have to go to certain jobs, get makeup put on me, and get pictures taken of me. Obviously, it's kind of taxing on the body to, you know, wear heels for a long time and be able to take direction and stuff like that. But going from a job like that to now where I am, you get as much as you put into it, you know? Some instructors kind of just show up and say the right things and do what they're supposed to do and then just leave and that's it. But like, the more I've started putting in more effort into my teaching, I feel like I've just loved it so much more. Like the more I really hone in on talking about the muscles you should be feeling it in. Clients come up to me all the time after classes and tell me how much they love that I actually speak about the muscles you're supposed to be feeling it in, and talking about tips that I feel myself while I'm taking class and that can help you. Something small like shifting your hip or your weight so your hip flexor stops hurting or something like that. Like, it's the little things that people really notice in the effort that you put in, and just makes you feel so proud of yourself and so much better. And I just feel the more effort I put in, the better I feel and the more confidence I have in myself. Like, I've never felt more confident in my own ability, my own skill, and that feels really amazing. Okay guys, my makeup is just about done, but my hair is still a mess. So I'm just gonna go blow dry it really quick and come right back to finish talking what we're talking about. I am just about ready. Today's actually my day off, so I'm just gonna go get dinner with my grandma, and I have an appointment. There's the hair and the makeup. And the last thing to do before I head out. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this video was helpful and that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. I'll answer any and all of your guys' questions. I love you all. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and thank you for joining.